As some of you may know, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach recently launched a brand new free DLC for the game known as Ruin. I hold Security Breach in a special place in my heart because when it came out, it was the first Five Nights game I had actually ever played, and some of the first videos I ever uploaded to this channel. With that being said, it still was quirky to say the least, but I ultimately enjoyed the experience. So when I heard Ruin was out, I went running to give it a try. In this video, we're going to be embarking on an adventure back into the Pizzaplex as Cassie and collect all the endings for the Ruin DLC. The game starts out with a wide shot of a very different looking Pizzaplex from what we're all used to, as Cassie jumps in searching for Gregory. And really high gamma? I turned that back down just about immediately. I had it up back when I played the main game because the game was so dark my Twitch stream couldn't see. But of course my Twitch chat wouldn't let me live down that I had the scary game on not scary mode. Of course, we blatantly ignore the graffiti warnings on the walls and head deeper into the lobby where we find our flashlight, which, unlike Gregory's, has infinite battery life. Further in, we head up some stairs and run into our first jump scare-ish. I can't lie, the ambience of the very first area in this DLC is legitimately unsettling, and I was very impressed with that. Of course, a security bot wants to say hi to us as we pass by, but we move forward nonetheless. Eventually we come across a Roxy walkie-talkie, or a Roxy talkie, if you will, with Gregory talking on the other side. He seems really distressed and is begging for our help, and he tells us he is under Roxy Raceway, which is all the way on the other side of the massive Pizzaplex. Regardless, Cassie is determined to save him, so we head forward where we almost get crushed by an elevator instantly, which really sets the precedent for the future ahead. Traveling inside the vent doesn't serve well for us, and it comes crashing down with us along with it. We land in what looks like a ruined kitchen and run into Chica, who is not looking so good. Turns out Gregory's visit has really done a number on the animatronics remaining in the Pizzaplex. After running into Chica, we find a new tool for this DLC, the Faz Wrench. Cassie mentions it's just like her dad's, so I wonder if that means Cassie's dad worked in the Pizzaplex? I wonder what role he had. We're going to be using it quite a bit in the future. Just around the corner, we must charge the conduits in order to unlock the door. The conduits are a fairly simple puzzle with the goal of charging each available one until all of them are in the blue, which unlocks the door forward. At the bottom of the stairs, we run into something. Could have happened terrible that caused these metal stairs to literally bend. Oh, okay. I just got a quick glimpse of that. Didn't really get to see what happened there, but we're just gonna pretend like nothing happened. Next, we find ourselves in what appears to be a control room where a small Pizzaplex audio plays, making the area even more ominous. On down, we attempted to enter a pipe, but Monty in his ruined state didn't like that, so we got jump scared by him and forced into the water where the prologue comes to an end. After coming up from the water, we appear to be in what is an extremely run-down Monty Golf. After crouching through some tunnels, a mask bot grabs us and insists we take the mask it offers us. If you ask me, that's pretty sketchy, but Cassie doesn't seem to mind, so we put it on and enter the AR world. Here we meet Helpy, a technology-based bear that wants to help us through the Pizzaplex through the Virtual Augmented Neural Network Integration Unit, or VANI for short. Using the mask, we can appear to completely change reality. Moving forward, we find our first wet floor sign bot, and after being impressed they're still kicking, we discover we can deactivate it with the VANI mask on. Helpy teaches us how to use cameras, and we run into the Monty Golf arcade game, which I clearly made a priority. Just like real golf. On par. That's me. I'm a par player, you know? I'm just saying, the world is getting more weird. Okay, holding a strong par all the way through. I'm a miserable player. I couldn't even hold par. I couldn't even hold par. This eagle, it can't be that hard. I'm trying. Okay, we're back on our par streak at least. Don't worry about it. Freddy, let's go! 1 over par. After playing around, Monty gives us another scare before we turn the corner and find an electrified door. With mask on, we can clear the stairs up to find our first parent security node. With each parent node, we have to find the subsequent child node in order to breach the security and move forward. This child node is simply the barrel nearby, and after deactivating the child node, we must deactivate the parent node by doing a matching puzzle where the only stipulation is the lines can't cross. Once done, the forklift raises, allowing us to move on. We get a warning that something isn't right, and find another security node ahead. This is where the glitch bunny thing comes into play. We don't really know what it is, but Gregory tells us to stay away from it, and Helpy insists we remove Vanny anytime we see it. After finding 2 more child nodes located here and here, we have to breach 1 more, with the child nodes being directly to the left, a nearby golf club, and a plushie. Once that's done, the electrified door is finally open, and on our way out, we discover Glitch Bunny Man was actually summoning Monty to come take us out. But his luck hasn't been so good lately, so he kind of just gets crushed by some wood. We then head through to what appears to be a dead end, but after solving a weird AR camera puzzle where you find anomalies in the environment, the giant monitor seems to just disappear as long as we have Vanny on. So we head through the giant screen into the next area. Now we're in chapter 2 and find ourselves in the daycare. If you remember Security Breach, this is Sun and Moon's domain, and it's awfully dark, so I think we can go ahead and expect who we will see. Moving into the area, Moon makes himself known as we're traversing the playground-like tunnels in the form of a jump scare. Once we officially enter the area, Sun grabs us in a desperation attempt, begging for the lights. So, we're ready to happily oblige. The camera monitor nearby shows us 2 anomalies that we have to find in order so we can open the path forward. Once done, we enter the playground and are unable to remove the Vanny mask, but it's not to worry. We will see our bunny friend, but he can't come up in here with us. At the top, we find and turn on the first Faz generator before Faz falling down to the floor. Cross the room and solve another anomaly puzzle. Then we Faz climb the play area to turn on the second generator, causing Moon to become paralyzed. We take advantage of this and use our Faz wrench to reset him, causing Eclipse to come out. Eclipse is much more chill by comparison and floats us off to the door of the daycare, where he shuts the door, leaving us to our own again, but not before hearing a subtle thank you from Sun. The next area harbors bare animatronic exoskeletons. Yes, the same kind that only come after you when you look away. We have 3 child nodes to find here. First off, we solve a conduit puzzle in order to reach the first node in form of a plushie and what appears to be in a deactivated animatronic's hand. The next is the nearby anchor thing. The exoskeletons are starting to follow me now, so we tread carefully forward to find the last child node and solve the parent node opening the door to the theater. The theater is right for exploring, but save that for the full playthrough video on my second channel, Jeeps_2. For now, we will head to the monitor and solve the anomaly puzzle where we are looking for Sun, Moon, then Wet Floorbot in that order. Once solving it, we discover we've come into a way closer call than we had realized, as a giant exoskeleton is coming out of the theater stage, nearly touching us. And even better, once we remove the Vanny mask, it totally disappears. So, naturally, we did what any sane child would do, jumped in its mouth. Cassie freaks out initially, thinking she's stuck, but once we remove our mask, it's not as claustrophobic as it seems. But still kind of is because we're in a vent system again, but oh well. Moving down the vents, we get a strange feeling, and it fell again. I love how Cassie has a clear distrust for the vents solely because of what happened to her in just the recent past. After the fall, we find ourselves on the Monty Golf ride of a lifetime. Just like any theme park ride, we have fun riding the little swamp creature and get some really cool backstory on Monty. You can tell that Monty always wanted to be a star and always looked up to the stars that performed at the Pizzaplex. Except maybe Freddy. He doesn't seem to really like Freddy. It looks like Bonnie took him under his wing and passed his guitar onto him when he quote-unquote retired. Then Roxy made him look the part and he became so much of a superstar, he played his guitar until an intense whirlwind appeared and beheaded Freddy. Yeah. Anyways, the cart we're on crashes, and now we need to breach an adult node with 4 child nodes in the same scaffolding area where Gregory defeats Monty in the main game. It's ruined now though, of course, and all the scaffolding is covered in some kind of oily substance, causing the pathways to be slippery and for me to have my first death so far. We can play a little FPS action in order to lower a nearby drawbridge and head forward. We must be sure to have the Vanny mask on here, otherwise the platform won't appear and we can't reach our first child node on the other side. With the first one down, we head across the drawbridge we lowered earlier and continue on around until we come across some sort of portal where Helpy totally gaslights Cassie, but regardless we end up on the other side where we encounter the second child node, which is a metal fold-up chair. We have to play some more FPS games, with this time being a little bit harder because the targets attempt to hide behind obstacles. Once all the targets are down, another drawbridge lowers, leading us to a lone plushie, which is the third child node. Another portal is nearby, leading us into the Matrix, I guess. And we get trapped in here with the glitch bunny thing. Fortunately, Helpy is just somehow able to incinerate it along with the help of Gregory, so it will be off our back for a while. At the other side of the portal, we find the last child node and then make a big jump to get back to the other side. Once there, we run into a conduit puzzle that it turns out we don't need quite yet, but go ahead and solve and then head over to finally breach the parent node, which opens the exit out. The earlier conduit puzzle activated the ride once again, so we hop on and ride our way into the ride maintenance bay. Gregory comes up on the Roxy walkie and begs to be saved again. I had to wait for the game to load here for quite some time, but it's hard to be mad at it with how undeniably cute this little man making pizzas is. Up the stairs, we come into some sort of boiler room / kitchen where we have to solve 3 conduit puzzles, 1 on the ground floor and 2 more up the ladder on the top floor. Once we solve the final one, just before we exit, we see Chica laying lifelessly on the conveyor belt before we head into the next vent and head down the conveyor belt towards Chica to drop into the next area. Immediately in the next room, we are looking down on our glitchy bunny friend. It turns on what is called an inhibitor, which is going to kick us out of Vanny and not allow us to re-enter until we can turn it off. After solving a quick conduit puzzle, we find ourselves coming up on some very large cupcakes. Turns out we have a giant cupcake staring at us as well that knocks us off the conveyor belt. Chica is here with us, so we let her carry on ahead and notice some blue stuff on the ground that Cassie refuses to walk through. Chica makes herself known again by shoving her hand through the nearby cracks and then heading over to a trash pile to assumedly look for some more food. We use a nearby camera monitor to imitate our own voice at a camera further away from us in order to move Chica in a way we can get through. It doesn't last long though, as she appears behind us soon after and a chase scene ensues. I'll bet it was a short one, ending with Chica getting caught between a rock and a hard place. She really has terrible luck when it comes to these Pizzaplex kids. Now we are in the room with the inhibitor, so after turning it off we can now access Vanny again and use it to breach the nearby child security nodes, which are the large lollipop and the trash can. Then heading under a devious looking cupcake and inside the bathroom we find the final child node and then die like a few times because this bunny dude kept conveniently putting Chica on me every time I went to breach the adult node. Nonetheless, we do eventually breach the adult node and unlock the next door. Next, we find ourselves in the server room, which is just a neat little transition room with an anomaly puzzle and a promise of being safe from the bunny man. There's also a lot of talking going on here. Helpy talks to us a lot. That promise was short-lived though, as in the very next bit of the server room we run into a rather large version of the glitch bunny. We have to solve another anomaly puzzle in here, but it took me too long to realize I could even get close enough to actually solve it, so I died the first time immediately after opening the door. But the second time was no issue, and we find ourselves just outside of Roxy Raceway. We finally found our way to Roxy Raceway and immediately encounter Roxy, who is having an intense crisis at her little makeup mirror. She hears us moving around and stands up to check it out, shouting for Gregory. So Gregory makes some noise to distract her, and she literally goes flying after him. Opening the next door, we see her head into a door that's going to be locked for us by a parent node. This segment is pretty linear. Moving through, we find the first child node, which is a self-portrait of Roxy herself. Once breached, a nearby inhibitor immediately turns on and we have to rush to shut it off in order to take off Vanny. The next child node is a single nearby mirror where the same happens. Once the inhibitor is off, the pathway forward opens up and we find a nice scene of Gregory and Cassie happily together. However, once deactivating the nearby child node, which is the pair of giant scissors, it's just a sad Cassie. The next area has an anomaly puzzle that we have to solve quickly because an inhibitor has been turned on once again and it's located past the exit. After locating all the anomalies in the camera, we can head through where a shiny cart is our final child node, and Chica also comes walking through. She heads into the nearby bathroom, and upon further inspection, I'm sure she's just taking a nap. She clocked out, her shift was over. It's fine. Turns out the area was one big circle, and now we're back in the room we initially encountered Roxy, so we breach the adult node and continue to move forward. We have to go down some long, very filled corridors and then make our way down an even longer ladder. Here we find ourselves in a sewer-like area and Monty has made a return. We can find him swimming around underneath the water, forcing us to have to use the floating platforms to jump across. The first area is simple enough to get across, and then we solve a conduit puzzle. The next room is a bit broader, however, as long as you can get on top of something quickly, Monty has no chance of grabbing you. On the other side, Monty pretty much leaves us alone at that point since we have to get into the water to solve the next conduit. Monty does try to come after us one last time as we're leaving, but since we turn the power on, the water is now electrified and Monty gets just a little bit zapped and sinks to his next resting place. Who knows if it's his final, honestly. Next, we run into Roxy again, except this time with Vanny on, we can actually see the rest of the body, which is kind of neat and really green. We have to use the nearby computer monitor to lure Roxy towards the voices coming from the camera. Once we get her close enough to the door, she will break it for us and we will be able to run right past. Up next is a similar but longer section. On this one, we have to be really careful to make sure Roxy actually follows the sound of our fake voice, as well as move quickly so the glitch bunny doesn't find us for wearing Vanny for too long. Just so you know, the rest of the DLC happens pretty fast, so be ready for a lot to happen pretty quickly. Even on my first playthrough, these last few chapters took just around an hour, and that's with some deaths included. We run into a possessed Roxy go-kart little thing and just kind of move out of the way. Finally, according to Cassie, we are officially in Roxy Racers.
I don't have them.
Let go! Let go! Sorry. Error.
Boy, what the fuck? Error? Error?
So she gets a hold of Gregory. He tells us about how something underground broke out and ruined everything. Cassie feels like she should go back and contact the police for help, but Gregory literally gaslights her into thinking that's pointless and directs us to find the sinkhole under the raceway. According to Helpy, the area is on security lockdown, and we will have to shut down the remaining security nodes located in Bonnie Bowl and Phaser Blast. First off comes Bonnie Bowl. In Bonnie Bowl, we run into a large amount of very tiny music men as our main enemy here. In order to get them away from the child nodes, we're going to have to distract them with the voice on the camera, which is iffy to say the least. These guys like to break and become disjointed from each other a lot. The next child node is on the actual bowling alley where we follow the same strategy. I will let you guys know a little free chicken here, a little secret, that there is a fun little secret room in here if you manage to deactivate all the wet floor bots. But that's all I'll say. We have to solve a conduit puzzle to enter the next area and immediately head toward the inhibitor to turn it off. The next child node follows the same pattern of distracting the mini music men, and then the last one is a bit different. We open a nearby garage-like door, then lure the music men to the far end so we can go all the way around just quick enough to breach the node. Fortunately, once you deactivate the node these guys are protecting, they shut off immediately. So the way back to the parent node is easy, and once it's deactivated, we head up through Bonnie's stage. In here, we find an event that Helpy tells us leads straight to Phaser Blast, but it turns into a way trippier ride than expected.
We about to have a lore drop? Good job. That vent connects directly to Phaser Blast. Okay, Phaser Blast is the last one, I think. So we did Bonnie Bowl, and now we gotta do Phaser Blast. This is a hint. Does that mean that I missed two things? This is trippy as fuck. Ah, that was healthy. What is this?
At the end, when we finally get to the bottom, we get to see this really neat gold sword hanging out of the now ruined Princess Quest 3 arcade machine, which for anyone that doesn't know is a huge part of one of the more favored endings in the main game. Of course, we have to traverse through a long series of Cassie's brand new favorite thing, ventilation systems, in order to get down to the ground floor of Phaser Blast. It starts off with what looked like to me was going to be a lengthy maze section, utilizing the strange portals from earlier, but after entering the first portal, we're locked in a small maze with a 2-child security node. Oh, and of course there's a nearby inhibitor outside of reach, so we want to do this section quick while avoiding the Ghost Bunny Man. We run around frantically, honestly, until we just find the first child node by chance, and the next child node is actually fairly close by, but we kind of just took the long route around because I wasn't paying attention. Of course, the bunny man is on our tail the whole time, so once I'm able to create some space between us, we breach the adult node of Phaser Blast, creating a portal for us to go through, and also turn off the inhibitor. And here at the end of Phaser Blast, we run into an old friend, or at least someone we thought was.
Freddy!
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 Are you okay? Functional.
Okay. Not good. Not good. Not good. Holy shit! Pucker factor is real! Holy shit! Fredster looking a little different, huh? Fredster's not really looking well.
Gregory finally comes into contact with us once again and tells us we only have one more node to breach, and it's actually Roxy. We have to deactivate Roxy because she's the final security node. And turns out she wasn't very hard to find. She's just in like the very next room after a long hallway. Somehow Roxy is pinned down already, and when we approach her, she remembers who we are and starts talking about our birthday, causing Cassie to become very emotional. We let her talk for a little bit before finally shoving the Phas wrench in her eye socket pretty violently and deactivating Roxy. This opens up a nearby door which leads to the famed long ass elevator to underneath the Pizzaplex. Things are pretty neat down here because there are some lights here for whatever reason, and also some fuel generators which weren't here before, so you can tell that somebody has been here since the events of Security Breach. Not long after coming down, we come across a watery area with all kinds of bioluminescent mushrooms, which is really sick and kind of reminded me of Skyrim a little bit, where Cassie's infinite flashlight finally finds its finite. Ahead is another long staircase leading us even further down and into a room that may look familiar to some players who went the extra mile and got all the endings in the main game for Security Breach. Here we solve a nearby conduit puzzle to power the forklift. Then we access the computer to officially deactivate the security system Gregory has been wanting us to track down this entire time. This causes our glitch bunny friend to come out of the server right behind us, thinking it finally has us, but then the server pulls it back in, freeing us from the possibility of its grasp. The forklift rams through the wall and we're finally able to reunite with Gregory.
Wouldn't turn it off my damn self. Can't even complain.
You saved me. You saved me. Gregory?
Oh, that's Vanny.
You're not Gregory. What are you? Gregory. Get out of here! Run!
What? Roxy! How? How?
Cassie, can you hear me? Gregory? Is that really you?
We're really just standing still?
You. I've been trying to reach you all night. I'm not at the pizza place. Something's trying to trick you. You're a bit late. The thing in the basement sounds just like you. How do I know this is you for real? Is there another option? You need to get out of there now. How? My friend has access to the building map. Just follow instructions.
Okay. I I'm just saying we could have ran away so much faster.
It's right behind you.
Thanks.
Keep going. Go right. Right. Hurry. Almost there.
Gregory, a bit of advice would be great. I don't foresee myself making it. I made it.
Cassie, it's me. I think I need to explain a few things. You were never supposed to go to the Pizzaplex. That thing in the sinkhole tricked you. I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time. The Nexus security program was designed to keep it hidden, but you shut down the security. And now it's free. It's not your fault. I know you did it for me, to save me. But we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
Gregory? No!
What the hell? What the hell? Hold E to skip? No, I couldn't skip it. What do you mean?
Yeah, Gregory literally just betrayed us. At least I think so. I don't know. It's a real toss-up in the community right now. That does it for my first playthrough and also the betrayal / bad ending of the DLC, so now we can move on to the remaining 2 endings. First and foremost, let's clap for me actually collecting all the collectibles on the first try, which is pretty cool for me. If you want to see the run in more detail, be sure to check out my second channel, Jeeps_2, where I'll have the full unedited footage. The next ending we will be getting is deemed the Fredbear ending, or the good ending. It's also going to be super easy to get as well. All we have to do is load up our last autosave from the end of the game, and just not take so many directions from Gregory.
That was scary.
Behind you. Keep going. Go right. Right. Hurry. I'm okay. I found a spot to hide.
Who's that over there?
Yeah, the way I see this ending is Cassie putting on the Vanny mask to find some sort of reprieve in the vision of her friends before the mimic brutally unalives her. The secret ending is going to prove to be a bit more complicated, but fine all the same. We're going to have to head back and backtrack a little bit in time and find some hidden cameras located in chapter 1, 3, 5, and 7. These aren't very hard to find, just a bit time consuming.
Alright, first one right here.
That's supposed to be.
Holy shit, bro.
What are those things? They look like the DJ.
Now that all 4 have been found, all we have to do is head back down to the grounds hidden underneath the Pizzaplex and encounter the Mimic, who now has a fresh sense of style once again.
Gregory! Gregory! You okay?
Well, we'll see if it worked.
You saved me. You saved me. Gregory?
Ah, it worked.
You're not Gregory. What are you?
Gregory.
Ah, he's got a little costume on.
Cassie, can you hear me? Gregory? Is that really you? I mean, really you? I've been trying to reach you all night. I'm not at the pizza place. Something's trying to trick you. You're a bit late. This thing in the basement sounds just like you. How do I know this is you for real?
I just heard Roxy say, "Give up."
To get out of there now. How? My friend has access to the building map. Just follow instructions.
All right, looking good, buddy. Why? What is the deal with the disguise? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Holy shit. Okay, well, we got the jump scare for him, I guess. He just slapped us in the face really hard. He wins. Oh shit.
Hurry! Almost there.
Okay. What is going on? Oh dear. He got scooped. Bro is getting dismantled over there. What a... Well, hey, does that mean we win?
Alright, well, that just about covers it. I didn't give every little thing away because, you know, what's the fun in that? But thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and also look forward to a video soon of my FNAF Ruin quote-unquote speed run. Peace.